Hello, racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Saturday the 28th. And when we record the show, it's one before the other, and it was Hollywoodbets Durbanville that I did first with Graham Hawkins, and we'll call the show number 2 for this Saturday, where we race at the Big T. So 2 race meetings on the go. This race meeting at the Big T will begin at 12:05. There's 8 races carded. And just like Hollywoodbets Durbanville, we have a sweetener to the jackpot, which is in race number 5, jackpot 1. In race number 4, which is jackpot 1. And that sweetener is going to be 250,000 Rand. 9 races carded. What's happening, D's Diner? 9 races carded, jackpot 1, race number 5. So let's get the time for race number 5. It's going to be at 14:25. So 10 races, Hollywoodbets Durbanville, 9 races, Hollywood Turffontein, and that 250k estimated pool there is 1 million Rand. So that's some housekeeping for the show as we introduce Alistair Cohen, who is beady-eyed and bushy-tailed on a Saturday morning. Nice to see you in good spirits, Ali.
Yeah, thanks, Deez, and thanks for the surprise this morning between you and my wife. Complete accident, but both on the phone with one D's dying on early this morning, one asking for rides and one getting ready for the show. Unbelievable, but yeah, good card out of Turffontein on Saturday. Things are starting to warm up. I seem to say that every week. Obviously, the meeting at Hollywoodbets Durbanville does have a little bit more of an allure, the fact that we're dealing with grade 3 races, but as you mentioned, the jackpots at both venues, both targets to get to 1 million Rand. I think a lot of punters will rally around that particular opportunity, and hopefully it's a good weekend wherever you may be playing, wherever you may be interested.
Okay, I'm going to give you a heads up, Alistair. Along with your chosen bet for the show, we are going to do an in-running jackpot. I did one with Graham, and his perm came to 168 Rand, and we'll see what our perm costs. Not to say we're going to use that as a yardstick, because any cost of the perm, as long as you're making a profit, that is the name of the game. Right, race number 1 will kick things off. And what's happening in race number 1 as we bring up the field, we always have a look at the betting. And in the first race, we have number 3 at 7-2, horse number 4 at 7-1. Number 5 is at 11-2, and then we got a 5-10 shot here, Blizzard Snow, number 8, who is odds on and does look the part.
Well, just remember with number 3, Wearing of the Green D, this horse was carded to race at Turffontein just a week ago and got scratched at the start when giving a little bit too much uphill to the handlers, and there was a degree of talk for number 3, Wearing of the Green. Cabello Matsanyani takes a ride for Mike de Kock, so just keep safe of her because as opposed to many of the other first timers, we do at least have some sort of clue. But number 8, Blizzard Snow, is going to take all the beating here. I think 5-10 is a justifiable price. The last start when running second to his lordship, the 4th horse, beaten 3.5 lengths, Good to Great, has come out and won, so that's the early direction that we got from that piece of form. And then on debut, when Blizzard Snow ran second to Musical Score, and I think Musical Score is well above average. The 4th horse, beaten 10 lengths, has come out and won in the form of Alone Time, and Alone Time has at least also had an opportunity of running in a handicap and ran with some credit. So Blizzard Snow, very, very hard horse to beat, should do the job. Gavin Larena gets the ride of this daughter of Erupt, who just has the look of a winner in waiting. Hard horse to beat in race 1 the first time, it will have to be good.
Okay, you heard it from Alistair Cohen. That 5-10 shot looks to be, what we can say is a realistic price considering the opposition and the field there in race number 1. So the exotics will now begin in race number 2, and it's going to be leg 1 of the jackpot. Number 1 is at 5-1. Horse number 3 is at 3-1. Number 4 is at 8-1. Number 5 is at 6-1. And I'm sure there will be punters of the top one, those that like looking one way, and that is on the top of betting boards to try and bank some cash early on in the meeting. They'll be looking to possibly nail this first double on the card. Odds on, odds on. I don't know, Alistair's given us the green light in race number 1. Is your thought process the same here in race number 2?
Confident, but probably a little less than the first one, Deej, to be honest. Number 6, Inspector James, is my banker in the bipot. The bipot is my suggested bet. Pierre Stradum takes her out for Johan Janse van Vuuren. I think before we dissect Inspector James, let's give our mention to Samanga Kamalo, who obviously has just undergone surgery after falling off the self-same horse just a week earlier. I believe Samanga could be about a month to 2 months off the track. We love his exuberance, we love his energy. And sadly, we're not going to have any Samanga for a while, so Pierre Stradum takes the ride. I think the biggest benefit that we got here with number 6, Inspector James, is that after a week of running free, he obviously returned without a scratch, and Johan Janse van Vuuren's comfortable to run him back so quickly. On the debut run, Inspector James ran behind Secret Chord. Secret Chord won again. Pacific, who ran second, has come out and won. That one at the Val on Thursday. Not much in behind, but also bear in mind that there was quite a big gap between those that have come out and won and those that haven't. 7 to 10 is a fair price about number 6, Inspector James. And just a little bit of a heads up, I obviously do chat to Mr. Werners quite a bit, and I know that they think number 6, Inspector James, is a horse with wins in the tank. So I think the expectations are there that number 6, Inspector James, will win. They were there last week as well when obviously things went awry. But I do have time for number 3, Head Trigger here, Dees, because he's got form to horses that ran at the highest level. It's 2-year-olds. Pistol Pete was just always going to be a hard horse to beat over 1,000 metres. He proved that. He ran at feature race level at the end of champion season, just obviously wasn't ready for that, but he's got wins to come, especially over 1,000 metres. And then second start behind Sunset Riot. Sunset Riot's no mug. He also ran at a very, very high level during champion season for Alec Laird. So I think Head Trigger's definitely worthy of some respect. I want to see how the Heather's Boy form line is ultimately going to work out, because Heather's Boy has suddenly become a talking horse around all circles in South Africa. The only horse to have run from that form line, ran no sort of race at all. But I think now on this card we'll get a lot more of a gauge with Ichacha coming up later on the day and Head Trigger. So only 2 horses can run. I think you can banker one or the other in the bar pot. My top choice is definitely number 6, Inspector James, but respect for number 3, Head Trigger. I don't think he's got his legs tied up here.
Okay, that is leg number 1 of the exotic, which is the first exotic on the card, the bipot. Race number 3, we'll kick things off with that place accumulator, and this is going to be number 2, Glamorous Lady, at 15 to 10. Horse number 3 at 8 to 1. Number 4 at 8 to 1. Fire Burst is trading at even money, and that is the top one. So between numbers 1 and 2, one could say it's quite tight here in the betting market, Alistair. Fire Burst, I'm not going to say I was disappointed with that last start, but I must add that I didn't expect the horse to finish 7 lengths back in third.
No, me neither. 100% D's, and that is a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But with that said, 2 weeks later we have a little bit of clarity as to how the form is working out behind Theatre of Life. Second horse, Future Date, found to be fair, a very weak maiden, but still came out and won with ease. And I know St. John Gray said in the interview that he thinks Future Date's got some more in the tank. And a horse that was beaten 11 lengths, therefore 4 lengths by Fireburst, Intro, came out and ran second. So there are a couple of gold stars next to that piece of form all of a sudden behind Theatre of Life, where it looked like Fireburst and the market rival were absolute Monties to at least get into the first 2. They both missed, causing a big bar pot dividend on the card. Gavin Larina sticks with her. She steps up 150 metres to a mile. I don't see that being an issue. So I think she's probably found the right landing spot, has number 5 Fireburst, and I'd dip her on top and make her the horse to beat. But you got to have respect for number 2, Glamorous Lady, with Muzi on board for Wai Shong Mawing, the daughter of New Predator. Like I said, when she ran her last start, I actually had no idea who she was, I must be honest, having run third to Accept Cookies, who was a warm order favourite and did the job. And then last time behind Kuramati, who came out and won at a fairly big price. Glamorous Lady held her form. She ran an admirable race, and with Muzi on board, there could be a little bit more to come. So I'd keep it safe. I'd go with both of them in the bipot. I'd go with one of them in the place accumulator. If both of them did miss out on the top 3, I'd be scratching my head. I don't see too many other dangers here. Messalina's had her chances. Quello K, I suppose, ran, a length and a half behind Glamorous Lady. She's still got to turn that form around. I can't see that. There's no reason to believe that that's suddenly going to happen. So, 2 and 5, the only 2 horses for me, and I don't see anything else winning here.
Okay, Alistair is expecting a form result, and he thinks that the market has got this on the mark with numbers 2 and 5, who look the part in race number 3. Then the big one, race number 4, will kick off the pick 6, and we will have a look if Alistair can try and narrow things down here, or he is in the camp of the favourite, who is short. But we'll have a look at the betting. Number 1 at 7-1. Number 3 is at 5-1. Horse number 4 at 33-10. A horse that's been frustrating if you followed Ombudsman. Number 8 at 11-2. And then we got even money here about number 9. What are we doing leg 1 of the pick 6? It could be a nice bet to catch on the day. You know, we mentioned the boat race meeting, so I'm sure the punters will be spreading their risk between the 2 race meetings. I hear you when you mentioned at the top of the show that, you know, with those group races, the Matcham and the Diner at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, it does lend more appeal. But wherever you catch the pick 6, it's immaterial as long as you get the combination right. What are we doing in leg 1?
100%. I mean, just to digress a little bit, I know, having done a few Hollywoodbets Durban July days at Turffontein, that, look, anyone who's involved in racing that is not focused on Africa's greatest horse race, you've got to be absolutely thick in your skull. But with that said, the amounts of times that you've kind of looked at a lesser card on a feature race day and kind of come out on the other side without saving the day, that I put in inverted commas, lesser card, it's ironic. So there's no reason to say that totally ignore this card at Turffontein, because even though it does get a little bit trickier as the meeting goes on, there's still plenty of opportunities, and who knows what's in store. To answer your question, Deez, this is not really my style, but I'm in or out here. And a Banani Chacha, I must confess, I'm surprised to see him at even money. I thought we'd get a little bit of a better price, but I'm keen on his chances. The son of Danon Platina, trained by Stuart Pettigrew, who's had a wonderful start to the season. Peter Sunday and Pauli takes a ride. The last time I was in Pettigrew's office, he said a lot of things to me that I won't share, but he did tell me that he likes this horse, Chacha, as a racehorse. He was pleased with the debut behind stable companion 12 O'Clock High. I don't think 12 O'Clock High will beat Chacha again, because we know it's not the pedigree way to ready them up first time out. I know that there was a lot of confidence behind Chacha second time out, but he probably came against a horse who's simply better. And I don't see any headers, boys, in this race, despite the form that Pan and Gold brings in, or the ready form that Pan and Gold brings in. Likewise, Ombudsman, expecting Lonely as a Cloud to step up and improve and hopefully get into the top 4. But Chacha, hard horse to beat, in or out, first leg of the pick 6. Either going to be a long day from here, or it's going to be a great day from here.
We like it. We like it a lot when we get the confidence from Alistair, and we got a banker. And hopefully this falls into place. Leg 1 of the pick 6, race number 4, banker number 9. Well, we mentioned the sweetener is always enticing. It is something that's a lure, and we know that we will get a sizable pool. Both centres, that is, for the jackpot, 250,000 Rand. Carryover, and it'll begin in race number 5. Estimated pool is R1 million. So we're going to do an in-running jackpot. I'll jot down the numbers that will be suggested by Alistair. Leg number 1 of that jackpot, race number 5. Number 1, Breeze Over, 4-1. 2, Prime Example at 4-1. Number 3 is at 6-1. Number 4 at 4-1. Then we got number 6 at 2-1, and it is double figures, the balance. So, Alistair, this could be a tricky start to this jackpot. Number 8 is a scratching, Fushimi Inari, so that is out. 7 runners will go to post. We always say this because once we start going over these distance races, stamina kicks in, etc. But would you go with the proven stayers that are in form here and not look for any spooks?
Yes, but how do you narrow down the proven stayers here? I can't see any of the double figure horses winning 5 and 7. So I think we established our jackpot numbers quite early here in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. That's 5 of the 7 horses that are running. You're not gonna be happy with me, but that's the way I see it. I can't see Miliki or Kudzu getting involved here. My bar pot numbers are 1, 2, 4, and 6. I've left out number 3, Poets Warrior, in the bar pot, but cannot possibly do that in the jackpot. But to answer your question, Prime Example's my top choice. Caden Brewer takes her out for way of Maui, number 2 on the card. Ran at pinnacle level last time when Razor Hallelujah just had a very, very pleasing swing at the weights and came back to winning ways. But at middle stakes level, which prime example won the penultimate over this course and distance, he made Razor Hallelujah look fairly ordinary despite the fact that there were 6 kilos in it. So he's an accomplished stayer, he's a good stayer. He's obviously in good hearts at the moment. Way Maui, as we know, it's cliche, but it is a fact. Way Maui's brilliant with his long distance horses. So prime example does, for me, set the highest standard in this race. Breeze Over has me absolutely stumped. There have been so many times when I've fancied this horse. He has a habit of not getting out of the number 2 box. He needs absolutely everything to go his way up front. I'd also anticipate that he's probably a run behind his absolute peak fitness, despite the fact that he's an accomplished stayer as well. And with races to come in the half-out long distance races like the Java, like the Racehorse Owners Association marathon race on Betway Stomach Up Day, I suppose all of those will come into the reckoning for number 1 Breeze Over, but he's a player as well. 420 Drachmas on the run to prime example is 4 kilos better off for a 3.5 length beating. That brings him into the picture, number 420 Drachmas, although I'm still of the opinion that he's a better horse on a more galloping track, i.e. Turffontein, Standside or the Val. I just think he probably turns it on a little too slowly on the inside track to really be as effective, but I respect him simply at the swing of weights. And then number 6, Stroon Sky. I mean, this is going to be duck or no dinner for Stroon Sky. I know the family very, very well. They stay all day. So Stroon Sky, Johan Janssen van Vuren's rolling the dice. I think he'll get the trip. I don't know whether he's quite going to be the same quality as Breeze Over, prime example, and all the other accomplished stayers around the half-out, because that's where a lot of them obviously get a chance to strut their stuff. But he could be. He's the unknown in the race. He could very easily win this, or he could very easily go missing number 6, Stroon Sky. But there's sort of, when kids try and jump sort of 2 flights of stairs and get to the 3rd one, that's what Stroon Sky is doing here. It's not sort of jumping 2 stairs to get to the top a little bit quicker. This is taking a big leap of faith for number 6, Stroon Sky, and it might work.
Okay. For GH at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, we shifted the goalpost and we went against the rule, let's just put it that way, and we allowed him to include one more horse. So what we're going to do here, Alistair, we are going to include 5 runners, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Exactly how you see it is where we're going to jot the numbers down. That is leg 1 of the carryover jackpot. Race number 6, number 3, Key News, is at 4-1. Horse number 5, Wolf Mountain, is at 5-2. Number 6, Xantha, is at 4-1. Number 7 at 8-1. Number 8 is at 5-1. And it's 10-1 and better the balance. Wolf Mountain, your thoughts on him as a racehorse, on what he's shown thus far? He's still a young fella, but he's got some fair form lines, Alistair, when you look at how Mike has been racing him.
I think a good racehorse, Dees, with plenty of progress to come, and I think that they're going to be wins in the tank, and I respect his chances here. I make him a second choice. I think number 8, Prince of Kildare's got plenty in hand though. His penultimate started graduation level. He had no right to be there off a 67. He ran less than 7 lengths off Lead the Charge, giving him weight. Obviously Lead the Charge being a 3-year-old. He couldn't miss next time in a handicap, and he duly arrived beating King of Numbers. Never mind the fact that was a few divisions weaker than this with 52 kilos on his back. I know that the handicapper got stuck into the extent of 8 pounds because he was under sufferance and won with contemptuous ease. But I still think this horse is a step above the handicapper. D's Moosey's back on board, 57.5 kilos. I don't know if Billy Rates has stumbled upon a winning experiment, having run the horse in the wrong race to know what the right races are. But I think number 8, Prince of Kildare, still got a few pounds in hand. So I'm going to tip him on top from number 5, Wolf Mountain, who from draw 1 under striker for his retained owners. Like I said, I respect his chances. Last time coming back from a layoff, he pushed Run for Cover. I thought Run for Cover was a certainty out of draw 1. This time Wolf Mountain gets that benefit. I'd still think that he's a horse that's going to be most effective over slightly further though, but the fact that he's untapped to any level, number 5 Wolf Mountain does come into the play. And the other 3 horses I've got in number 2 Dr. Faustus, I cannot work out. I don't think Johan Janssen van Vuren can work Dr. Faustus out. He's a complete underachiever, but maybe he can come back to some sort of life Number 3, Key News in the play as well. First run is a Gelding, the son of Heavenly Blue. Beat a horse that I know Sean Terry thinks is okay first time out in the form of Ronda Bosch. Last time behind Taxi to the Moon wasn't a bad effort. If there's any improvement to come after the Gelding, he's a chance. And don't leave out number 9, Nazare. Raymond Danielson shows a lot of commitment to get down to 55.5 to ride the son of What a Winter, who he won on at his penultimate start. He's just a much better horse on the inside track than he is anywhere else. Ignore everything that he does anywhere else. On the inside track, he's a number of lengths better. So just include him as a little bit of a shreedy.
How many horses are we including out of the 9 in that carryover jackpot? In numerical order?
2, 3, 5, 8, and 9.
2, 3, 5, 8, and 9. 5 runners there in leg number 2 as we move along to race number 7. And hopefully things have gone to plan. We got the results that we wanted in the first and second leg. And we'll see how Alistair plays leg 3 of that carryover jackpot. Number 1 is at 28 to 10. Number 3 is at 5 to 1. Horse number 5 at 4 to 1. 6 is at 28 to 10. And 8 is a 5 to 1 shot. So that is race number 7. We got 9 runners that go to post. In the previous leg, out of the 9 runners, we included 5. How many are we including in this leg?
I've got 3 in my output, D's, but I think 3 will suffice in the first track. The chances of number 6, Oxalis Gold, who does come off a layoff of 139 days, but this will be the return for her. On debut, she ran second to Fatal Flaw. Fatal Flaw's got some minor black type, having run a great race on Gold Cup Day at the end of the season with Hollywoodbets Greyville. The 4th horse, Vara, came out and won for Sean Terry. She's not too bad. Second time out, ran behind Pointer from the Alec Laird stable. That is a very quiet form line, to be honest. We've got names like Belissavar in there that I don't want to see in such a hurry. And then last time Oxalis Gold came out and won, the horse who ran 3rd, City Lights, at the time of recording, we don't know how she goes at Hollywoodbets Greyville, but maybe she'll get the job done. The second horse, The Crown, it's quite a quiet form line, but I have spoken to some connections from the yard about number 6, Oxalis Gold, and they think their wins to come, especially when she stepped up over further. She's related to a good long-distance horse trained by Lucky Houdalakis from a few seasons ago in the form of Seville Orange, who won the what was then known the Track and Ball Oaks at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. So I think this is the right landing spot for number 6, Oxalis Gold. First run after a break, Cabello Matsanyani takes a ride. I think that she'll take all the beating here. The backup, though, if she does need the run, definitely numbers 1 and 8. Number 1, Do It With Diamonds, off a heavy weight, got collared by Across the Pond last time out. Nothing wrong with that effort. The horse who ran 5th, Hats Queen, won at the Val on Thursday, so a tick in that box for number 1, Do It With Diamonds. And then number 8, Future Date, simply because the Yeni Grey train is firing at the moment. St. John Grey getting a horse out the maidens, a 3-year-old filly out the maidens, rated 84. He's shrewd enough to know how much he's got to work with, and she's turned the corner. And also, if Fireburst does do something early on, which we all anticipate, then that'll enhance the chances of Future Date, because Future Date finished in front of Fireburst on the 14th of September. And one thing we know, this will be her 4th run this month. She's a very, very fit horse, and she's a lot wiser now than she was at the start of the month.
Okay, our numbers for that jackpot. You mentioned 3 of them. Numerical order, give them to us.
6 and 8.
3, 6, and 8.
1, 6, and 8.
Ooh, why did I say 3? Okay, 1, 6, and 8. 1, 6, and 8 there in race number 7. And we close this carryover jackpot in race number 8. And this is how they are betting. Number 3, Willow Express at 4 to 1. Horse number 4 at 5 to 1. Then we got number 8 at 7 to 1. And is this going to be the banker for Alistair Cohen? I'm only saying this because I'm looking at the betting now, obviously. 15 to 10. A horse that you could say has separated itself from the rest of the field when it comes to betting. And I know that the horse does have a reputation. The fact that Gavin has opted to go again, hasn't raced since the 30th of June. But I don't know what Alistair's made of this individual thus far, because there's really not much that you can put forward, barring the fact that he took 2 starts to win his maiden and won the maiden well. What I'm saying is that he's relatively unexposed, Alistair.
You'll remember the mother as well, Bilateral, was trained by Wayo Mowing.
Correct.
She won the Golden Slipper on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day, a big prize as well. And easily the best of the family. And Gavin Lorena getting down to 55.5. I mean, there are a lot of clues here for number 9, Bacchus. So answer your question, I've got 2 horses, and I'll get to the second horse in a moment. I am leading with number 9, Bacchus. From the form on the winning start at the end of June, 3rd horse, Diwali Rocket, came out and won. The 5th horse, who Pettigrew thinks is good, Orange County, has come out and won. The 2nd horse, Burrito Salvaggio, has not run since. But we know that Brett Crawford not running anything in Joburg until the rains come, and the rains have come, so I think you'll see a few Crawford runners starting to filter through. Bacchus has got a lot in his favour. I believe the fact that he's untapped, he could have any amount to come. I think that he's a reasonably nice horse in the making. We'll learn a lot more as life goes on to see what level he gets to, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him get to a fairly high level. So number 9 back is clearly the horse that we've got to lead with. And the other point that I'm going to make here, Dees, I don't want to sound condescending. There are a few too many brasses in this race, horses that I think have just forgotten how to win. But the backup for me comes up in the form of number 3, Willow Express. Now, this for a long time was the epitome of a brass. But now he's got back to winning ways, and I think the key here is Stradham's engagement. You'll remember on the big day at Hollywoodbets Scottsville when Willow Express won, and I'm going to say this, Sean might not like it, he only won because of Pierre Stradham, and that just coaxed that little bit of extra confidence out of the son of Willow Magic, the lovable grey who's nearly been retired a few times. The amount of times I've been told by the connection that this is his last start, then he runs an unlucky 3rd or whatever, and they believe that there was a win to come. And now, from that patience and that belief, there've been 2 wins to come subsequently. So number 3, Willow Express, I'm only putting in because I'll kick myself if he were to win under Stradham, backing up with Stradham back on board, and because we know that he's capable. So that's how I see it, but 9, a solid top choice. 2 horses, double the perm.
Okay, the 2 horses going to be 3 and 9?
3 and 9 indeed, the numbers.
Okay, we will read out that perm after we get through race number 9. That perm I'm talking about is the carryover jackpot. Yep, we're now on to race number 9 where we close things off. We bring up the field. Number 1 at 5-2. Horse number 6 is at 9-2. Number 7 is at 6-1. 10 at 7-2, and then it's double figures, the balance. A nice end to the race meeting, Alistair, if you're a quartet trifecta player, because I think you could get money here if you get it right.
Yeah, lovely race indeed. I want to start with number 1, Greeting My Master. If he was drawn better, I'd make him an absolute good thing. Beat a horse rated 120 last time in the form of 118 rather, in the form of William Iron Arm. That's no mean feat. Showing the progress that Greeting My Master is on. It's his 4th run in Joburg. He'll be better with all the runs that he's put in. He was holding his form to very, very good horses of his generation in Cape Town, the likes of Shishlui, Questioning, and even older horses like Rascallion, Picaya. I mean, Picaya started favourite in the Hollywoodbets Durban July 18 months ago. So that's the type of level that Greeting My Master's run to. He's very interesting in Joburg going forward, but the draw obviously just dampens any type of confidence. But he's a big player. Cannot possibly leave him out. But let's see what price this horse is. Apache Sun. Pilasande Ndoli takes right for Tyrone Zaki, 7-2. It's a little bit shorter than I thought he'd be, but I don't know. I know we did the show on Wednesday for Thursday. He's Future Wolf, the horse who he beat at his penultimate start. That should have won on Thursday. That ran into traffic up the inside rail, took the daring run. Sally didn't get through, and a few strides past the post, he was 3 lengths in front. But Apache Sun used the benefit of perhaps being very well treated by the handicapper by winning his next start, beating Twin Turbo. This is a lot harder, but I believe there's something there. There's a lot to like about number 10, Apache Sun, and completing a hat-trick is definitely not beyond the realms of possibility. So I make him a huge player as well, because I think that he is overall a better horse than an 88, and I think he's got a lot of weight to work with. So those are the 2 horses that I'm most keen on. A few horses that I think also have to be, and also the other kicker here, sorry Dees, is that Pilasande and Pauli could have chosen any one of these matched horses, I'm sure, and he's gone with number 10, Apache Sun, and I do believe there is some sort of agreement with him and Tyrone Zaki through the sponsor, but I think Pilasande is comfortable with the ride that he's got on number 10, Apache Sun. 7 Ataremat, nice horse. He's pretty much in the same boat as Apache Sun, but I think Apache Sun's got a little bit more progress to come. Warhawk Bomber is going to have some sort of say. I think that Thunderstone can sneak into the top 4, not necessarily win, and that's probably where I excuse me, that's where I stand on the race. 1 in 10, my winning chances in the finale.
1 and 10. That could be the way to go. Maybe double float and hope for a few roughies to fill in the minor spots in that top 4. So I mentioned that we're doing an in-running jackpot that starts off in race number 5. Jackpot 1, 250k, million rand estimate. This is the perm before we hand over to Alistair for his suggested bet. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6, leg number 1, by 2, 3, 5, 8 and 9, by 1, 6, 8, and we close things off with numbers 3 and 9. And again, an inexpensive spend of 150 rand, considering you may be playing into a pool of R1 million, and hopefully this falls into place. It could be a nice return on that investment. Alistair, over to you for your suggested bet.
Yeah, which is a bar pot. I would have ordinarily tipped a jackpot because, as you know, when there's a carryover and when there's a sweetener, I like to give punters the biggest opportunity of catching what's potentially the biggest pool. But only found out about a bar pot when it was advertised on Thursday, and the jackpot rather, and the bar pot was already sent through. So banker number 6, Inspector James. By the way, I'm playing this bar pot, and I'll play that jackpot as well. By 2 and 5, Glamorous Lady and Fireburst. By banker 9, Chacha. By 1, 2, 4 and 6, Breeze Over. Prime example, 20 drachmas and Strewn Sky. By 2, 3, 5, 8 and 9, Dr. Faustus, Key News, Wolf Mountain, Prince of Kildare and Nazare. By 1, 6 and 8, Dirt with Diamonds, Oxalis Gold and Future Date. Very close to bankering in that last leg of Oxalis Gold, had another run under the belt. I would have, but that up to that Turffontein.
Okay, I'll close things off with Graham Hawkins this way. I'm going to do the same with you, Alistair. As the racing fans would have noticed, I'm usually shuffling between my pages. I'm scribbling on and writing down things. I'm old school. I like to use the hard copy, like many out there. But I must add that this is the first time I've done the show on a device, Alistair. And if you got coverage and you got speed, I think those will be the 2 keys. You can quite easily maneuver between racing sites which are user-friendly on your device if that is your choice. I had no option today, but my preference is clearly for the hard copy. But I must say that I found it pleasurable doing the show on a device which I did for the first time.
D's, I'm lucky because I've got a laptop open in front of me with a computer form downloaded, my phone with my perms, my notes here next to me. So I'm very, very lucky. But if I'm not one for the device, I must be honest. Too much shuffling around, too many buttons to push. I'm old school. Many people might think was it Generation Z or whatever it is. But in my head, I'm miles away from that, unfortunately. But very well, I'm proud of you, D's. Very, very happy. And now you'll be under pressure to use the device every single time going forward.
No, I'm not going to be doing that, as I told Alistair Cole, as I told Graham Hawkins, and I'll do the same. But I must say, it was fine. It was fine, and I'm also old school. Pen in hand, paper, and that's the way to go. I mean, that is it. That is how we grew up learning the game, and I wouldn't change that for the world. But thanks for your time, Alistair. And a double header Saturday. We got Hollywoodbets Greyville on Sunday. Lovely weekend as always, along with all the sport. And we're off to Nelspruit over the weekend.
Yep, Shot D is looking forward to it all. Be a fantastic weekend. Premier League is back. Obviously, the Springboks. South Africa are playing cricket against Ireland. I mean, if we can't win those series, then we are in a world of trouble. But, yep, racing is obviously our pride and joy. So that will be our first port of call on the weekend before we sort of spread our wings and shout home the Springboks. Thankfully, both meetings will be done by the time the Springboks kick off, and we'll all be looking forward to that.
Thanks to Alistair Cohen, thanks to the team at Gallop TV, to you, the valued racing fan. Have a blast, find all the winners. It's a wonderful weekend if you're a racing fan. And have a blast, find all the winners. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.